Hello, Twin Flames, and welcome back to God Conscious Twin Flame 1111. This is your month of June reading. So we're going to go through the next few weeks to see what the angels have, what information the angels have for you moving forward. So I'm going to use the Tower of Dreams. To start with, that was the guidance. I'm going to lay out the cards and we're going to see what they have for us. I find them pretty amusing and entertaining these days because I feel like we're ring around the rosy a little bit. But you will have a pocket full of posies at the end when they are done with all the lessons that they need for you to undergo. The levels of awareness to get to that higher consciousness that that we get glimpses of, but we don't always live in as frequently or as fluidly as they would like. So this is a process. It's a journey. We're going to get to where they need us to get to. There is no rush in how we move forward, and that's kind of the messages I shuffle this deck for this reading. So we ask God, Archangel Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Ariel, all the angels, Jesus, who became man and underwent some of these challenges that we, in fact, are undergoing ourselves. Mary, his beautiful mother, the Queen, Mary Magdalene, who is talked about as being the Jesus's twin flame. We just ask that you give us a preview reading for the month of June 2018 for the Divine Partners, Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine. How you would like us to proceed, what you have in store for us, what would be potential pitfalls if we don't follow the guidance. How would you like us to move about in our spiritual world and in our everyday world in the third dimension, and the people that we get to associate with, that you put on our path and that you entrust with us. So we're asking for the messages for the month of June for the Divine Partners, Twin Flames, Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine. What would you like for us to know? So, thank you for your assistance. What I want you to know is that the overall energy is the King of Cups. And the King of Cups brings emotional happiness and stability. And so that's the energy that your Divine Masculine would like to bring, is emotional happiness and stability. Some of them are still working through their karmic ties to the third dimensional. He wants to be in the center of balance as it relates to his life, his world, and his divine feminine. So the first one to speak in this reading is from the Divine Masculine energy. He wants to become that mature partner in his emotions. He's ready to manifest the relationship and ready to communicate some of the things on a deeper level than he has in the past. So this is truly a great move on the Divine Masculine energies. This is all of what we've been going through the last few weeks of May are starting to be realized. So, yeah. So this is the first week. This is our second week. Oh, yeah. And this is the third week. Thank you. Okay. So we have both the King and the Queen in your reading. So your level of maturity in your spiritual, emotional self has come to pass. Here are both the King and the Queen that have shown up. So, so my sense is that there is union occurring in this month of June, and it's how we handle moving forward that is the most important thing. I want to leave these cards out. So, so it's telling me in the first week that that the end of May, there is like some sadness and some dreaminess and some regrets still carrying itself into this first week of June, and that that's going to yield a magician moment, essentially, where there's going to be some manifestations that occur that help pull this out of the realm of existence in your 3D world, at least for the month of June. So the sadness is going to come to an end. And then we have the Three of Cups, the Trinity is what it reminds me of. It reminds me also of taking off the masks, because there's the masks in this one, in order to realize the closeness that is needed. You know, the fear, regret, the sadness, the dreamy state that we get into. The dreamy state of wanting this relationship is kind of where he's getting to. He has these like fond memories of the relationship. He has these fond memories of times that you guys have had together. He still has some of the regret of the sadness of what he had done to kind of cause a break between the two of you. But he knows that he can manifest in the magician phase the newness of this relationship. In a new level, in a more mature level. There could be some of the negative aspect could be still that he's living in the past, but I'm not sensing that as much. I think it's like split, still working through to clear to get to the present energies, to embody and embrace the fullness of the emotions that he has been forced to deal with, to be able to communicate them ultimately in a way that can be received in a loving way and in a wholehearted way. To become the true king that you deserve. The manifestation from the magician stage will bring about this celebration, good fortune. Now, it'll be an exciting time in the beginning of June, because you're going to start to realize how and particularly him, how much he missed you, how important you were in his development, how the relationship was a gift of monumental proportions that created this energy within him that he just can't seem to find anywhere else. And he is going to start to realize the wheel of fortune moving forward, that by reaching out to you in authenticity, that he's going to start to see things in a different light. He's going to start to see things more clearly And he's going to start to see how manifestations occur when things come together for you two. It's still a cautious energy that he's going to be in as he moves towards you. You see, he still has himself protected. I think that's amusing. I mean, there couldn't be any more daggers in front of his heart if we tried. He's still going to be protected, but he just knows that this is exactly the medicine that he needs to help him heal. But he's afraid of it, just as you were afraid of it in many of the weeks prior to this. He's gotten into a more subdued state to be able to explore his thoughts and his subconscious. He kind of knows that he kind of innately just goes back into that behavior of running, not intentionally, but he's starting to examine that part of himself that causes him to run. And I think that for the purposes of the development of the relationship, I'm sensing that it's better to move now cautiously, because what is meant for you, there's no mistakes that can happen. It's going to happen. As he moves cautiously towards you, he's going to have these little wins, these little victories. This shows short-lived victories, but this sometimes shows short-lived victories over deceit. But my sense when I put these together, he's still working through all of the decisions he has to make. So he's coming cautiously. He used to pick like from the snake cup to be deceitful, but he is trying to figure out how he can not have that expectation of how that the shoe is going to drop and that you're going to be just like everybody else. So he's got to pick from one of these cups. When he has this little victory with you, when he has this little victory within himself, when he has this little victory with the divine, he has to remember that he has to go back to the divine, so that it doesn't become like a stolen moment. So he doesn't go ahead and run again, because he doesn't like the running any better. He just doesn't understand that why he does it. So when you guys do come together, be cautious. Be cautious. Don't overly lose yourself in it, because what happens is we forget to maintain our own beingness. We get lost in the energy of being with our divine partner, that we stop doing the things that we did that helped us get to the divine partner, and then it would feel, like a loss, a victory that was ill gained. I know I have felt like that during parts of the reunion phase. And then at the end of the month, it's just pure union. We're going to be coming out of like the third week, 1, 2, 3, third, fourth week. So these are the weeks moving ahead. I'm going to read it the other way too, just because I felt inspired. So there's going to be still some of this energy going on of challenging beliefs. Just continue to remember that the ego wants to destroy this. And I remember having these discussions where he would come at me with all these firing of questions, and I was there like this, but I was not in the last go around, for lack of a better way, I was not as guarded in defense. I was like, yeah, well, listen, it doesn't matter that you don't understand what my journey is. It doesn't matter that it doesn't make sense to you. It just makes sense to me, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. And when you stand in your conviction, he knows he's got a powerful woman there. He knows he's got or she knows there's a powerful man there, depending on whose energy has been running this. It seems to be mostly true to the sex, meaning a lot of the men have been running. A lot more men have been running than have been the feminine, and a lot more of the feminine have been doing this work for a lot longer than the masculine. Now, we've been doing it along the lines with the title of the Twin Flame Journey. They've been doing it in other ways, maybe not necessarily defined as a twin flame journey. But it's saying that when you stand in your convictions, he knows he's got the woman he needs to plan the rest of his life with. When you're standing like a mighty oak tree by the rolling rivers, and you're not swayed by his antics, he knows that he's got somebody to be in full partnership with, that he can pursue a family life with. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean kids, but it could. With the dog, just a happy family home with it lit with the fires of God and the Trinity, that, you will be happy in family and nurturing the Two of Cups, a happy union and togetherness. This is a very heavy union energy. We have both the Queen and the King present in this energy. If I was to read these cards this way, this is kind of the dream, and count them the 4 weeks this way. This is kind of the energies of, where he's at, where he's been over the last month, contemplative state, trying to get clear, trying to see who he is, what his role is, who you are, what your role is. He'll see, as he's looking at that the Wheel of Fortune, as he starts to be more gentle towards who you truly are and how beautiful it can be, he's going to start to see the wheel turn in that favor. He's going to be less prone to seeing the negative and more prone to seeing the positive. But then he's going to go into conflict again. But no, it can't be that way, because it's never been that way. And how is it going to be that way now? That will cause him to be sad, because he knows he's not in the right space. But that'll cause him to also clear. As we go into that second week of June, it'll cause him to clear. It'll cause him to get ready to really release all of those toxic emotions that have held him, in some instances, since he's a child. He's got these swords. He's got these swords still, but he wants to set them down and start to explore the cups again as he goes into as we wind up that second week of June. He's romanticizing this. He's romanticizing the love. He's romanticizing the love, and then he wants to learn how he can manifest it and make it happen, to come into the 3D world and then not go into the errors of the past again. And yes, he will have short-lived victories, meaning these little wins, and then maybe in one of those little wins, unbeknownst to you, Divine Feminine, he's going to say, oh, I did it again, I messed up. So we don't know what thoughts will be triggered as a result of the emotions that he feels. He may choose to put it back on the armor when he's dealing with you, but the Divine's not going to allow that again. He's not going to allow that. See how the heart shape and the swans, the two cups, the elements of water representing the emotion and the cosmos. So bringing it into the union and then celebration with so we went from the 2 of Cups to the 3 of Cups. A lot of cups in here. Actually, almost a full suit of cups in this reading. And what that's reflecting is that he's moving through his emotions. He's starting to get some of that cleared. He is learning how to choose from the tree of life and the tree of good and evil, or the cup of life and the cup of good and evil. He's learning how to be fruitful when it comes to managing his emotions, and then talking about his emotions to you. So yes, you guys are going to manifest a union by the end of June. Some of you soon thereafter, by the end of the summer, I'm getting. No matter how we slice this, there is a closing off of that old karmic energy. There will be a move. I shuffled this deck. I want to shuffle it again, but there will be a move together into union. See how they're gently tied together, and then the light is wrapped around the heart. So you have the Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, and then God. God has to be in the center of this. 7 is a perfect number. 7 days God took to create the earth. I'm going to leave this over here to see what other messages they give to me on that. Yeah. So since we're at the end of May when I'm doing this reading, you're still going to see some of those energies of May start to wrap up. If you need to do a forgiveness letter, please do so that you can let go of any of the things that are tying you, divine feminine, and maybe you're still having a few of these as you get into, oh wait, like for example, if he says he's going to call and he's an hour or too late, but he does finally call, but you went through the whole anxiety of, oh, here we go again. He's not calling back. He's not responding to text messages. This is an invitation to see it differently and to not put those swords up around your heart. Because once we start to go back into this energy, then we have to go through the process of clearing it. And a lot of you divine feminine can be ready to just go move right into the cups and stability. Some of you cannot yet. Some of you cannot yet. But this is what you have to look forward to as you move forward in this journey as it relates to your divine partner. I know that I think in last week's readings, end of May readings, some of you were, last weekend actually, they reminded me, we're ready to reconsider this relationship and this path. So you can do that, but the next relationship you get into is going to have the same thing. It's going to have any of those things that did not get cleared, they're going to show up again with that new relationship. And then what you're going to discover is that you can't get away from your twin. You just can't get away from that. So physically you can do it, but emotionally and spiritually you can't. Physically you can get into a new relationship and you know, conceivably live reasonably happy, but you will always be connected to your divine twin. So that's what they're saying. Yes, union. Heavy union energies, not just union, but heavy union energies. Any other messages that you have for us in this twin flame energy report for the divine partners would be so helpful. Yeah, so the last week in June will be a peak emotional fulfillment week, because you've got the 10 of Cups, the 2 of Cups, then you have the 2 of Cups to the 3 of Cups, the middle cup cards, where there could be some regret still, but this could very well be the dreamy look. I'm sensing he's giving the dreamy look. This is the choices we make in the confines of in our emotional relationships. We're going to start choosing from the cups that yield fruit, and to get to the emotional fulfillment, the absolute of emotional fulfillment. Happy occasions and interactions, pleasant activities, wishes fulfilled. Wishes fulfilled. A partial warning here as it relates to this, because we sometimes put these expectations on things and that causes us some grief. So just go with the flow. Just know that the divine wants you to have those things, and that so it is done. And so it is done. Now I'm going to just lay out the John Holland Psychic Tarot for the heart and see what other messages they give us for the month of June 2018 on guidance. So have heart, dear ones, that this is going to be a more joyful month. And if you take the actions that they were giving you in last month, and you keep following those actions, the little annoyances won't seem so heavy. Yeah, those little annoyances won't seem so heavy. So open up, share the love. Share the love. So he might not have learned yet how to come to you in grief, and he needs to learn how to share the love. Balancing. That's what he's going to do under the Magician. He's going to learn how to balance his masculine and feminine, and in here it's going to blossom. The love between you is going to blossom. It's gonna grow into this whole new entity. And that's why in last month's reading they said stay out of it, Divine Feminine, let him go through these processes so that he can clear this one. Refusing to see on the Wheel of Fortune, he needs his third eye to be able to see that wheel spinning. When he comes to you, Divine Feminine, and he still seems to have these daggers, don't correct him in any way, nurture him. Let the angels give you the language to use to help him when he's in that. Because there's times he's going to come to you completely guarded. You know, you can feel it, you can see it. So just nurture that energy so that it can be fruitful and it doesn't go back into taking the lead. Taking the lead. That's we got 3 threes. The angels will be guiding that. Change your focus. Focus only on that which you want, not that which you don't want. Sadness and isolation. So what happens? They're just so funny to me. So what happens when we go into defensiveness? It makes us feel like what we're doing isn't good enough, or that we're not loved, or we start to second guess ourselves. So if you've come across this, go and take yourself and or if you're doing this, try to remove yourself from the situation and meditate. Meditate on the situation. Moving on. So you guys are going to be moving on together. And you're always separate in this, that you have your own mind. Some of you are going to be feeling alone in this. You're going to be in union, but you're not going to feel like you're in union. So talk to the angels, let them help you. And this could be the divine masculine. Now this is good, maybe energies that resurrected from the past. So you want to be patient, you want to nurture it, and you want to embrace it and be positive about it, because that's the final card here. And then the overall energies is rebuild. The overall energy for the month of June is rebuild. Embrace what is. Embrace what is. Don't try to resist it. Don't try to fight it. Don't tell him he's wrong. Don't think in your mind that he's wrong for the way he's doing it, because he's got to learn how to be an overcomer too. And overall in this reading, there's the way we clear our pain and the way they clear their pain is different. They are very much the gatherers. The hunters, they're very much the hunters, we're the gatherers. And we don't mind gathering these emotions and looking at them. Some divine masculines can't do that. Some are learning how to do that. Some just they're linear in their focus more often than not, and they just want to kind of charge forward. But what's happened when they did that was that they did not take the time to realize that by charging forward, they couldn't, with all the baggage still attached to them, they could not move forward. They felt alone. They felt like, oh, this is just like what I just went through. Which is okay, because then they can clear it and then not take it back to you again. Because that's what happens. It's that exchange of the energies that which we no longer want. And, you might be very, very clear, and you've done all your work and you're all healed. So it won't be a big deal for him to walk away and go and do some more clearing. And just will be like, yeah, he's just going into the cave to take care of what he has to. Maybe he refused to see something about himself. And I think it's great, because his refusing to see will help him yield the Wheel of Fortune, which the refusing to see is that his mind, intellect, wants to interfere with what could be the best thing for him, and he doesn't know how to see beyond that. That's why he has the sadness and isolation on top of that. So even if I was to read this again, I'm going to read it this way. Open up how he's feeling about his divine feminine. I'm starting to see that in with my divine partner. I'm starting to see more of the opening, and then I saw him shut down. Open up and shut down. I don't want to say such things because there's nothing that can be done about it. You're too far away. I don't have to, I don't want to change my focus to that, because, you know, that's part of his regret, that I am so far away. Hopefully that'll shift to being to this positive, because he fluctuates. And then yours will fluctuate between what they did that caused you to take an action that is really the best action that you took for yourself. But for them, it left them a little bit more in the lurch. They got to work a little harder to get back. Whereas before it was a little easier for them to get back. It's not so easy. They really have to do the work. They really have to share the love. They have to share where they're at, which for us, you know, we can cry to them very easily, but they can't come back to us with their heart open, like, see, it's like vulnerable. It's open. Anybody can touch that. It's hard for them to get there. But see, share the love, and then there's, I don't know if you can see this, but those pillars, those are couples in between. Those are couples in between. So, he may have been ridiculed for sharing his emotions in the past. He might have been put down for it. He might have not been heard or listened to. He might have been hurried out of the emotion, like a man up kind of thing. So he's going to be learning how to share that love and find the balance between his two. I'm coming down here now. So as he's trying to do that, just nurture. Just be nurturing. Be your beautiful you. Sometimes we don't have to say anything. Just be present and listen. That's a form of nurture. You know, you got to figure out what his love language is. If you know what it is, you got to be consistent in how you approach him with that, with his love language. And the best way to approach him with his love language is know what your love language is, and know that your love language and his love language aren't the same. So he wants to move on from the things of the past, and he's moving towards this. They just said for some, they may think that moving on away from you is the best thing. So that will only last a little while. For me, it was only 3 months this time. Yeah. It might feel like there's no way that I can overcome some of what I did, and we saw that in the last month. But as we go into the last 2 weeks of June, he's going to find that balance. He is going to manifest that cup in the middle, that divine cup. And he'll find that balance between his masculine and his feminine. Maybe even his, little boy and his manhood, that maturity level of the king, which was the overall energy. I think this is a very beautiful twin flame reading. He wants to take the lead, but he has to remember to allow the divine to take the lead. And that just gave me, like in this reading particularly, maybe he's trying to take the lead, but the divine is saying, wait a minute. And that's what that short-lived victory was. He thought he had the great idea, but it's really the divine sharing the light with him, right? And then he's got to remember to reach out to the divine to be able to take the lead in the sovereignty of being under the authority of a major king, the divine king. So that is going to be hard because they're authoritative, they're masculine energies. And then with the emotional, that feeling of being alone. He may need to be alone, divine feminines, a little more often than he may need to be in union with you, even though he's in love with you. It may help him to be alone. The feeling alone is where he's got to find the balance by that next week. And he's got to learn how to change the focus. He's going to learn how to get this to blossom. You're going to be helpful in that. So that'll be your role, to just keep nurturing the relationship and not bringing up the things of the past. Even though he's going to bring it up, but just reminding him, what you focus on grows. What do you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on the things that happened between us before? Do you want to focus on... Wow. So the angels are really divinely protecting this. I'm just looking at all the threes all the trinities we have on this table right now. 21 is a 3. Queen of Cups. So embrace. That is the World card again. So we have a 3, a 3, a 3, a 3, a 3 underneath, a 3. So the angels are divinely orchestrating this, and you want to stay out. So I'm going to pull for the overall energies. Actually, I'm going to use the daily guidance from the angels for each week of June. Specific guidance on how you would like for us to move forward towards this union in a healthful, nurturing, spiritual, love-filled way to create the joy, or to manifest the joy, better yet, letting the divine create it within us. Okay. I thank you, we thank you, the collective thanks you for this reading. Very clear view reading. Oops. I think I have to invest in a new deck, because this one is getting a little bit worn out. The colors of the gold are completely worn. Okay, so we're asking for the month of June, for the 4 weeks ahead. What information would be helpful for the collective as it relates to going through each week? And yeah. Noticing the pretty smiles on their faces in the balance. I don't know if you can see that. The pretty smiles. And then the radiate from the heart, just radiating out so that you can go do the mission. Even if you're, you know, when I remember there were times that I was out with my twin, and they'd say, wow, we can just feel the love between you guys. And it would cause us to radiate, really. It would cause us to really like, wow, I can't believe people are like watching us and not what they're doing. All right, so for the 4 weeks ahead, we have working with young people, and your divine purpose involves helping, teaching, or parenting children. Time to go from the past. The sun sets and rises each day, and it's the same with the avenues in your life. See the beauty within each sunset in your life, and know that the sun will rise again tomorrow. Endings are merely the start of a new beginning, and we are with you through this phase of cycles. So that, I think, is really referring to this. Time to go from that energy into the newer energies. Acceptance. See yourself and others through the eyes of the angels with unconditional love and acceptance. In this way, you inspire and lift everyone in their highest potential. That is really great idea. It works. And then reward yourself. That's one way you can change your focus. You've been given a lot of yourself lately, and it's time for you to receive. Make the time to reward yourself in a meaningful way. The balance of giving and receiving is essential to keeping your energy, mood, and motivation of a consistently high level. So, and then I think the last one to do would be the angel answers. So, ask a question specifically as it relates to your situation, and I'm going to lay out 3 cards. Yeah. Lay out 3 cards. And we'll see what the angels have to say to you. Specifically for the month of June. Okay, so Oops. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, angels. All right, so for card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. So make sure that you have your question, and I'm going to turn them over and reveal their answers to you. Okay, you're ready? So for anybody who asked the question on that one, you are ready. Anybody who picked number 2, the answer is no. And then number 3, meditation brings answers. So, pretty clear. Let's see what the no. I mean, you're ready. We don't need much more on that, but the no, we might need a little more information on to help you. Whoever picked the middle card. Okay, so there's 2 no's in this deck. There's one with an exclamation point, and this one doesn't have the exclamation point. This one is just no. Okay. The answer to your question is no. You may gather additional information by asking another question surrounding this issue and drawing another card. So I'm going to do that for this reading. I'm just going to draw another card that could help you. Remain positive. And not the right time. He told me to look underneath. So it's just no, not right now. That's all that no means, not right now. But you should remain positive. Remain positive. It's just not the right time yet. So that's the answer for number 2. So I want to thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you who have been loyal and following my readings. If you would like a personal reading, please click the links below, and I would be happy to schedule those. I wish you a blessed and beautiful month. I cannot do, but for whatever reason, that video that went out is a strike, which means I can't do live videos for 3 months. So I am going to, upon my return from South Carolina the first weekend in June, I'm going to get the live videos up and running on Facebook. And I'm also going to potentially restart a site that I started in 2016 for live readings, specifically for live readings. So I will put that information out for you. You would have to subscribe so that you can get the rings. I'm getting guidance of probably 7 o'clock Central Time, which is 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and probably 6 Pacific. But check with your time zones, because Pam's not well versed in that. So I'm getting the idea of 7 o'clock on Wednesday evenings, where I will be doing live question and answers, and possibly even live readings, whatever I'm guided to. But it looks as though the day will be Wednesdays at 7 p.m. So if you want to mark your calendars, that's great, and hopefully I will see you on one of those live readings. In the meantime, my dear ones, sending you blessings of love, and I will see you on the daily reading.